Okay, y'all. So I woke up this morning and I checked Twitter and I seen EA said at 12 o'clock they had some news or whatever the case may be. They just put 1 o'clock Eastern, which is 12 o'clock for me. And here we go, man. This is what they have, all right? I'm gonna move this to the side. Okay. They got a big roster updates coming to UFC 5 this spring. Okay, here we go. We're gonna read this all, bro. So bear with me. It's time. At launch, we committed to you that we would work to get as many ranked and fan favorite fighters into UFC 5 as swiftly as possible. Since launch, we have added 11 new fighters to the game, and over the next 3 months, we will significantly increase the roster updates based on your feedback. Between April and June, we will introduce 30 additional fighters to EA Sports UFC 5, and will reach 98% parity with UFC Top 10 athletes rankings. Okay, this marks the most substantial post-launch roster expansion in UFC history, which is definitely true. Every additional roster fighter will be available for free with each update. If it's free, it's for me. Shout out to my black folks. Our first significant roster update is on April 4th, ahead of UFC 300, followed by subsequent additions in May and June. With this week's update, we will be adding 9 additional roster fighters from the surging newcomers Diego Lopez and his explosive submissions to the highly anticipated addition of Jeff Neal, hands of steel, Neal, like that, and new fight-ending strikes. There has never been a better time for you to enter the octagon and experience these exciting new additions to the roster. I'm gonna zoom in. Let me zoom in, y'all. Let me zoom in. Okay. In April, Tracy Cortez, Jeff Neal, 9 fighters in April on UFC 300. EA? Y'all acting unfamiliar. Tracy Cortez, Jeff Neal, Umar, Diego Lopez, Sergey Spivak, Muhammad Makayev, Marina Rodriguez, Mazrov Ivalov, Brandon Allen. I know that ain't who I think it is. I know that ain't. Drew Dober. If y'all know me, y'all know I've been asking for Drew Dober. My watch thought I fell. Look, my watch is saying it looks like you've taken a hard fall. They want me to emergency. I'm okay. I did not fall. They thought I fell. That's how hard I jumped out my seat. Drew Dober. Natalia Silva. Michael Venom Page? Already? Boy, y'all work quick when it's something that, you know what I mean? Okay. Matthias. Okay. No, all due respect. Who's Verna? I don't know how to say her last name. Manel Cape. He just pulled out. This guy, bro, isn't he like getting a title shot next? Marcia Tabora. I don't want to mess nobody else name up. I think that's Nasruddin. Okay, we got June. We got Roman Delize, Anthony Hernandez, Benoit Saint Denis. He just lost to Dustin. June. Kayla Harrison. Okay. Jonathan Martinez. I really like that one. I really like Jonathan Martinez. I'm finna be chopping the legs with him. Michelle Pereira. It's hard to see. Lupe Gomez. It's hard to see these names, bro. I ain't gonna lie. And I don't want to keep zooming in. I can go off some names, but it says C-I. Oh my goodness. The quality is terrible. I'm just go. Okay, I know Batista. I don't know him. Coquan Buckley, Randy Brown, Chris Curtis. These are some good picks. Okay. And they got them all right here. They got all of them right here. Okay. Yep. Okay, I know Norma Dumont. I know Lupe Godinez. I know her too. Okay. But after incorporating these additional fighters, we intend to return to our normal update cadence of introducing 2 to 3 fighters with each patch and ensuring that in-game roster remains up to date with current UFC athlete ranking. Thank you. Let's delve or dive Into the noteworthy gameplay updates, we've tuned stamina recovery between rounds, adjusted evasion properties while ducking, and rebalanced the speed and power of various strike types. The grappling and ground game has been updated with notable changes to the range and speed of double and single leg takedown entries. We have increased the short-term stamina cost for muscle modifier transitions along a slew of other adjustments that you can check below. Or we will, don't worry. Please keep the feedback coming because we will continue to bring you more gameplay balance updates in the future. Okay, so this is one of the fighters, uh, Mazar Evil. His name tearing me up. But we know the new fighters. We want to. This is what we want to see. Yeah, this is what we want to see. This is what we want to see. Let me move my cam so y'all can see. Okay, if y'all wanted to read yourself and not follow along with me. Okay, we got striking, reduce stamina recovery between rounds by 20. Now y'all talking. I'm listening because y'all talking. 20%. I like 20%. I like 20%. After the previous increase in stamina cost for blocking, missed strikes, evaded strikes, we saw that the stamina seemed to be in a good place at the end of the first round. But that fighter could recover too much going into round 2. The new reduction to the recovery between rounds hit the recovery going into the second round the hardest and should also make a noticeable difference across many rounds for fights that go the distance. Despite being listed in the striking section, this change applies to between round stamina recovery as a whole, not just from striking. Improve the evasive properties of stationary duck. Its startup has been reduced by 1 frame. This is a lot of motion happens as a fighter lowers ahead. It should reduce cases of strikes unnaturally aiming down at the opponent's jaw as they duck already quite low. And this will particularly benefit shorter fighters. When fighters have the same height or are taller than the opponent, this new extra frame won't benefit them as much, though it'll still help. The punches will no longer go down to their chin and will instead hit the top of their head, keeping a plausible arc. This will deal a lot of less damage and won't cause a hit stun. This mitigation mechanic isn't new, but wasn't coming into play too much given the previous tuning of the evasion frames themselves. Improve the evasion properties of advanced and retreating ducks. This change had a similar purpose but different details. In the case of these ducks mixed with footwork, the issue wasn't the startup time to their evasion window, but that the evasion window had a gap in the middle of it. That happened right when your head was very low. We have closed this gap, and now these moving ducks should behave as one would expect. No more roundhouse tracking your head super low as you retreat with a duck. Okay, that's a W. Slow down the haymaker execution. The execution means how long it takes from starting the attack to landing it. These are the fastest values. Fighters who are slower or from heavier weight classes take more frames to make contact with the opponent. Even considering its shorter range, the haymaker was a little too fast related to the overhand. Execution from 22 frames to 24 frames sped up the execution of the rear overhand. With both this and the haymaker change, the overhand will become 2 frames slower and continue to have a longer range. The execution went from 28 frames to 26 frames. Okay, increase the slap base damage. Okay, with all due respect, I don't care about the slap, y'all. Increase the stopping power of leg kicks. That's what I like to hear right there. Yeah, that's what I like to hear. Stopping power means how early in the opponent's strike execution you need to hit them to interrupt them. The higher the stopping power of your strike, the later you can afford to hit the opponent and still interrupt them. Lead and rear kicks equal 20% to 30%, a 10% increase. Lead to rear calf kicks from 40% to 50%. Lead side kick to leg and oblique kicks is 60% to 80%. Okay, people are going to be trying to spam those. Make the cartwheel kick and rolling thunder much easier to counter after blocking them. There is now ample time to punish these kicks after blocking them. However, timing your inputs and selecting the proper strikes with which to counter can still prove challenging, as the animation for getting after throwing the kick can naturally keep the head or torso out of reach. We recommend experimenting with potential counters in practice mode. You might be surprised. Okay, reduce the cartwheel kick block stun by 10 frames. Increase the time it takes to block after landing the cartwheel kick by 16 frames. Reduce the rolling thunder block stun by 30 frames. Increase the time it takes to block after landing a rolling thunder by 14 frames. Increase the rolling thunder base damage from 35 to 45. It is now much riskier and isn't as nimble and evasive as the cartwheel kick, so it now deserves an increase in reward to make up for the added risk. Added rear hook kick base damage. Oh, the hook kick. Its main benefit is being safe on block and conceding less vulnerability than roundhouses, but considering how slow it is, we figured its damage could rise closer to the roundhouse damage 50. Okay, increase the lead and rear jump and switch kick block bleed through from 30% to 40%. The bleed block through means the damage percentage that goes through the block even if the block meter is full. This is the main purpose of the kick in comparison to the regular roundhouse. So the trade-off are being slower and less combo friendly. Increase the tornado kick base damage bleed through. Okay, base damage. With all due respect, I ain't trying to read all this. The increase the 720 kick Shawn O'Malley base damage block bleed through. This is similar case to that tornado kick, except 720 is even slower and blocking them should be a terrible idea. Base damage from 55 to 57.5, the newest highest base damage. Bleed through is now 70%. So if we rock somebody, that 720 tornado kick can do some damage. Sped up the lead front kick execution. Thank you. That I feel like this should have been the thing. This should have been a thing. The lead front kick be mad slow, bro. Mad slow. This should make it compete with the rear front kick, especially when advancing. Standing execution from 28 frames to 26 frames. Advanced execution from 34 frames to 28 frames. Reducing the rear front kick base damage and slow down its advancing execution. This kick has been thorn in many players' side, or rather chin. Its damage is a bit high for how fast it is, and the advancing version should be slower to be more in line with other rear advancing kicks. Its lead version should now be preferable when advancing. Base damage from 35 to 32, advancing execution from 30 to 34 frames. Increase the lead side kick base damage and sped up its execution. The side kicks are similar to the front kicks, but safer and less explosive. Despite the lead side kick bright sides, we figured its speed.
Do we keep our rank? He's the best diamond?
That's not true. Bro, you interrupted my video, bro. Alright? The side kicks are similar to the front kicks, safer. Despite we figured its speed power should be closer to the front kick and hopefully make it more equally appealing option. Base damage from 25 to 27, advanced execution 26 to 24, advancing execution is 32 to 28. With all due respect, bro, we okay, what else? Tuned visual damage to match doctor check results more authentically and intuitively. Cuts will now only reach maximum bleeding when the cut damage is maxed out. Visual swelling will be more limited until the swelling damage is maxed out. This should create a clear distinction between when eyes are almost swollen and when they are. These should result in fewer instances of just rubs of dirt on it moments when it looks like it should be a stoppage. Yeah, okay. Remove reduction of visual swelling after fighters are treated by cutmen, such as going to rounds. Okay. Grappling significantly increase the range and speed of double legs and single legs. These takedowns, especially the double legs, felt like they didn't grab their opponents from far enough. They also had several dead frames at their beginning, which could shave off to make them feel much smoother and more responsive. It should now be more viable to shoot on opponents before they walk away, as well as timing your shots against incoming strikes or after the opponent misses. Allow the single leg to morph into a low single leg when opponent walks out of range. This should further help with the issue of takedown range. Fix an issue that made double legs often miss when used from combos. They would almost always miss even from close range. Another behavior in combos should match that of when used as a single action. That's a W. Increase the short-term stamina cost of muscle modifier transitions by 50%. Okay. Well, we had halved. Okay, I ain't gonna read all that. We know the values. Okay, launch value was times 5. Okay, December patch value was times 2.5. New value was times 3.25. Allows single under escapes to interrupt the dominant fighter's elbows. It is it was possible to throw the elbow continuously and guarantee that one would land for free when the opponent escaped, regardless of how they timed the escape. Made the AI, I don't care about that. Lowered the chance of AI, I don't care about that. Added Aljamain starting in the featherweight. Career mode, longevity, attribute decay. Well, now, well, I don't care. Career mode, don't care. Enable vanity preview within punch, don't care. New vanity rewards, okay. So that's it. That's it. Hey, y'all. I appreciate y'all watching this. If y'all made it through, what is y'all favorite thing about this? I'm excited to play the game and see what it's like. It'll be tomorrow. I appreciate everybody for watching this. If y'all did make it all the way through. And yeah, y'all boys stay up, stay best, keep moving forward. I can't wait for the new updates, man. Let's get it.